If this is your first time tuning in, here are the ways that you can stay connected. Follow us on social media at Faith Nation Official. Life is better together. We have life groups perfect for you to connect with other believers. Visit wearefaithnation.com to learn more about our upcoming events and more. Start your day with our prayer call, Monday through Friday, at 6 a.m. Just dial 706-524-8249. Join us Sundays at 10 a.m. for worship. Make sure you invite someone. We also have Faith Nation Kids on Sundays at 10 a.m. Now get ready, Tuesday Faith Connect is about to begin.
Hi, my name is Beatrice Cassiano Allen, and I am the CEO of Transforming Minds Coaching and Consulting. I'm here with you today because I have gone through transformation. I have been through some deep things in my life, but because of the transformation and me deciding to get up and make that change, I am here with you all today. And I want to invite you all to a 4-week seminar that I am hosting, Transforming Minds Mental Health Seminar, and it is going to be called Breaking Down Brain Health. Listen, this is going to be a dynamic 4-week seminar. You definitely do not want to miss out on this amazing opportunity. We're going to have 4 amazing speakers that will each week be sharing valuable, insightful, educational, powerful information that you need in your toolkit. Everyone needs a toolkit, and when it comes to mental health and brain health, we definitely need to take the time to take care of our minds and be able to be healed and whole. And this 4 sessions will do just that. The session is going to start May 22nd from 7 to 9 p.m. The first session will be Trauma to Triumph with Dr. Noel Cassiano. Dr. Noel Cassiano is an author. He is a professor at the University of Hartford. He is also a licensed marriage family therapist and psychologist. So Dr. Noel has a wealth of knowledge. His first topic is going to be Trauma to Triumph. So he will be talking about trauma and how it looks on the brain. He's going to be providing brain imageries, brain scans. Like, you don't want to miss this session. It's going to be amazing. The next one is going to be Grieve, Grow, Rise, and that's going to be on May 29th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that's going to be with our host, Sorabel Martinez, a licensed clinical social worker. Sorabel is an amazing dear friend of mine. I'm so excited to have her a part of the series. Listen, she has a journal, the multi-million-dollar mindset journal. This is a boss, okay? She's going to be talking about depression and grief and how do you surpass that, but also be providing you with some tools so that you can move forward and be successful in your life. The next session will be June 5th from 7 to 9 p.m. It's going to be called Feel It to Heal It, and they're going to be discussing health, hormones, and movement. And our guest is going to be our very own in our community, Dr. Daryl Ellis. He is a medical doctor, very well known in this community. He is going to be joining us, as well as Dr. Jarrett Russell. He is a professor. Actually, now Dr. Jarrett Russell is the assistant academic dean at Auburn University, but he's a kinesiologist, and he's going to be sharing information on movement and health and how does mental health play into all that. So you don't want to miss this series as well. The next one And last one is going to be on June 12th from 7 to 9 p.m. And the series topic is From Chaos to Clarity. He will be closing out the session. You don't want to miss it because he's going to be talking about anxiety, ADHD, and how do those things or symptoms or diagnosis, how they all play in your life and how you can get over that as well. So please join me in this 4-week dynamic series. You don't want to miss it. Registration has already opened. The fee is $100. Come on, guys. That's $25 a session. You can do this. I mean, take the time to invest in your life, but also in your mental health. If it's not for you, you can also give someone else, with this amazing opportunity. You will definitely leave with some valuable information. You don't want to miss it. Join us. Go on and register right now. Like right now. See you there.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
This is Apostle Vince and Lady B on Faith Connect on Tuesday night, a special edition. So we thank you all for being here as we invite you to the conversation surrounding mental health and brain health so that we can prepare for Lady B's upcoming seminar that starts Thursday evening at 7 p.m.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, you saw the promo that's going on. You can go on to your website. So you have a brand new website.
I do. I'm super excited. It's Just Be Transformed, and that's JUSTBEA, such as myself, transform.com. So if you want to check out all things about B and what I got going on, everything will be always updated on that website where you can catch more information on there.
Now, the important thing now is that you can go to justbetransformed.com and register for the mental health seminar that will be taking place on Thursdays for the next 4 weeks, beginning this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and 6 p.m. Central, and then 4 p.m. Pacific time, California time.
Oh,
so yes, absolutely. So tonight we're just going to share some pointers, Lady B, about brain health, mental health, and prepare for Thursday night so that those that don't know can go and make a decision to sign up to be a part of this. I know it's going to be transformative. So my question is this: what are you most excited about as it pertains to this Breaking Down Brain Health seminar?
I think I'm number one. I'm always excited to share and do something with my brother. Like that is, such an honor. And that's something that I'm always excited about, to just have a space with him. So I'm super excited about that. But more importantly, I think it's creating spaces for people to learn about mental health, to talk about mental health, and to feel included, not excluded, or feel like that they're not going to be judged. So this is a safe place for people to come, to ask their questions, to learn about, mental health, brain health, and how it affects all of our lives, because we all go through some situations in our life that we have to endure. Sometimes people, are battling in silence. And, I say that mental health is not a luxury, it's a survival. And so until you really learn the tips and tools on how to deal with and cope with your emotions and your feelings, that's when you will ultimately be successful in your life. So I'm super excited. It's just, to have a place and space for people to learn and to grow.
That's amazing. So this is not your first rodeo as it pertains to a mental health seminar, because a few years back, you hosted a live mental health seminar that was, it was for real, like the clinicians, those that were looking for credits and things like that.
Yes.
So how does this Breaking Down Brain Health how would you compare the two events that you're having?
You mean from the previous one to
the
this
previous
one? Well,
one
I think the previous one was in person, so I think it was a little impactful. I think that also, like how you mentioned, like I had opportunities for people to get their CE credits for those that were licensed professional counselors, social workers, or MFT, licensed marriage family therapy people. So that opportunity was there. So of course, that's always exciting because when people can walk away with a certification and say, hey, I got this and I went to the seminar, I think it opens more doors for people. But I think having it virtual this time around, it doesn't just focus on this area. I'm able to impact, people, in different states, across, the US, north, south. So I think making it virtual, you can have a bigger impact.
So you have people that are signed up, of course, from the home state,
yes,
CT.
Yes, I have people from Connecticut that has signed up. So I'm super excited about that. I have
Tennessee.
People from Tennessee. Yeah. What is that?
Florida's on the
Memphis.
way.
Memphis. Where's Memphis?
Yeah, kind of north Mississippi.
Okay, there you go.
So it's south of Memphis, but it's North Mississippi.
Yes, and so I have a little bit of representation of Florida. So I think it opens the doors, to just have this conversation, and of course doing it on an enclosed platform, it also makes it more personal, kind of like small group in a sense, where people can have the ability to ask questions, and it's not in a live platform like this.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
well, that's
I'm super
good.
Excited.
So we're excited about what Lady B is doing, and just launching a lot of new things that are in alignment with her assignment. See, there needs to be assignment alignment. And so she's doing these things that are in alignment with her assignment, and we're seeing the fruit of that. And the thing is, you really have to ask yourself, how many people are God calling you to reach, for his glory? How many people on your watch are their lives going to be changed and transformed? Right. And so God's going to hold you accountable for that. Yeah. And I think it's cool that you are really stepping out there and launching out. So really, Just Be Transformed is kind of a multifaceted ministry / platform for you,
right? That
encompasses a few different things. So tell us about that platform, Just Be Transformed, and what does it all encompass? What's all housed in the family under Just Be Transformed?
So of course, it's everything that I'm a part of. I think I wear multiple hats, and I'm a part of just different initiatives. So, it's where you can go to kind of, see what I'm up to, or, what initiatives I'm supporting. But also on there, like my core services. So, Just Be under Just Be, it's, of course, transforming minds, coaching and consulting, which is, a business that I started a few years ago, and really didn't put the time in to push it and develop it. And now is the season to kind of like go hard. I've been working on some initiatives under that business, but it's kind of been like gradual. And so I'm super excited now to kind of like really kind of just press in and make it all, kind of come to life. So it's coaching. So I have Christian spiritual guidance, and then I am a certified transformation life coach. So under that, I will be, having coaching. I'll have one-on-one coaching, small group coaching, and then of course, because I am, I've been in the nonprofit world for so long, I also have some consulting for nonprofit and business. So, if you're looking for grant opportunities, board development, LLC, if anyone is looking for additional help in those areas, then I will also be consulting in that area.
Awesome. So you have Transforming Mind coaching and consulting, and then Let's see, what else?
And then, of course, I have my Passion for Latinas, where I'm super excited that, this year I'm going to be pushing that as well. And so with Passion for Latinas is something that I started back, I think it was like in 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
With Passion for Latinas, it started because of initiative with the Community Foundation. I was an ambassador for the Community Foundation when they were doing On the Table talks, and I hosted a table of young Latina girls. And through that, Passion for Latina was birthed. And, I started meeting with middle school and high school Latina girls, and just, with leadership, empowerment, financial literacy, so that's an initiative that I will also be continuing and pushing this year as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And of course, the Dream Center, can't forget the Dream Center. So, anything that I have, or any speaking engagements or anything like that, everything will go under Just Be Transformed.
Awesome. Well, proud of you. That's
Thank
awesome,
you.
man. A lot of great things going on, a lot of work that's going on behind the scenes. So let's jump into this coming Thursday.
Yes.
Mental health, breaking down brain health seminar, 4-week series. So let's just dive in and kind of give them a view or peek at what you're expecting and what they can expect to kind of extract out of this 4-week opportunity.
Right.
So, and I know you'll you'll probably drop some mental health nuggets and all of that. So let it rip.
Well, I think to start off, it will be something that's kind of faith-based. So, of course, you will gain some faith-based encouragement, just kind of some principles, encouragement. And I think things will be derived from that faith-based area, but then ultimately just kind of diving into trauma and depression, because we all go through some form of trauma in our lives. So I'm just super excited that, when people join, they're going to have some real takeaways, whether it's personal stories or whether it's encouragement or whether it's, how to recognize the symptoms, but ultimately walk away with some tools and resources that you can utilize for yourself or for family or friends. So I'm just super excited about that opportunity. We will have a couple kind of like self-assessments on there too, so that you can assess yourself and see where you're currently at, and then what it will look like for you, to, if you have experienced some type of trauma, what is it going to look like for you, and what are some of the things that you can do to heal. So
awesome.
Yeah, so that Thursday session is going to really be powerful. Of course, my brother's a professor, so he's going to bring, the whole educational piece, and, and something that he's most passionate about is just talking about intergenerational trauma and how that, kind of all affects us. So he'll kind of be touching base on that a little bit as well.
The Bible says that the sins of the fathers go down to 3 and 4 generations. So when you talk about generational trauma, or the sins or the iniquities of the father. And so oftentimes we don't think about that. We hear people, of course, in church, we hear people talking about, breaking generational curses.
Right.
And, but still are struggling with them. So I think that there are going to be some strategies to help people really to dig into not only the spirit of brain health, but the science of brain health. So a lot of times we try to put it all on the spirit, but then we don't have the science behind it in order to really break free. And when I talk about science, I'm talking about the principles, the skill sets, and the know-how to begin to move past some of the things that have held you back, held you down for a long time.
Right.
And so I think those things are important to highlight, and then important for you to be there.
Right.
I'll go on and tell you, I think, number one, I'm going to toot my horn. I was the first person to buy a ticket. All right. Because I'm not going to let my wife get out there and be doing something and not support her. So I was the first in line for my miracle.
Yeah.
But what I do
Thank
want you
you.
to do, you're welcome. You're welcome. Man. It's easy to support, easy to support. You got to put your, I just say put your money where your mouth is. So,
Yes.
this is going to, I think, be a blessing. You don't have to be ashamed, afraid,
Right.
or think that, you're going to be judged. This is simply a way for us to be able to really be able to embrace the best life that God has for you.
Right.
And that includes your mind, your spirit, your soul, and body, or your mind, body, and spirit as well. I love Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world.
Yes.
Be ye transformed, metamorphosis, caterpillar to butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yes.
Now watch this. He said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you can prove what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of God.
Mm-hmm.
You can even give proof of living out the will of God with a mind that is not transformed, a mind that is not healed.
Mm.
So we got to really focus on healing that mental part of us,
Right.
and working on that.
Right. And it's really, just trying to have control of like your emotions. And there's a lot of books out there even on emotional intelligence. I feel like once you grasp on how to handle your emotions, because your emotions don't have control over you, you have control over your emotions. So you have to know that you have the power.
You should have control of your emotions.
Right. And
we should have control of our
you
emotions.
have the ability to.
Yeah.
And so, for people that struggle with their emotions and having control of their emotions, then, that's when they need to have additional assistance and additional help. But ultimately, you should be able to say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to think about that, or I'm not going to do this, and, and have the power. But that's kind of like the same thing when it comes to fasting, right?
Yeah.
It's just having the power, the control.
Making the decision to do it.
Right.
Making the decision and doing it.
Right.
So absolutely. So we got some dynamic people coming.
Yes.
With some dynamic topics, and that makes for a very powerful time. And so you talked about Noel, and he was powerful when he came to the in-person seminar.
Yes.
But now, even more things, he continues to just transform himself,
right,
and continue to move forward. And so, you want to talk a little bit about what's going on with Dr. Noel?
Well, he was he's a professor at University of Hartford. He has his private practice. So he also does counseling. But now he has been promoted to also assistant academic dean. And he is, just kind of moving up in the university as well. He's actually writing a textbook right now. He just finished writing a devotional for men. He's I don't know if it has been released. I think he did release it, but it hasn't kind of like been out completely. But he has multiple books. I think we shared it the last time. The Fatherhood Crisis, Momentum, a devotional about moving into intimacy with God. And then, this is a personal one, which is Just a Kid from Park Street, which Park Street was the street that we grew up on in Hartford, Connecticut. And, in this book, he really just talks about trauma that he went through when he was a child. And, we lost a sibling. One of our brothers passed away. And so in this book, he just talks about how he just viewed and just kind of processed it all growing up. And then, especially with being in a home that there was domestic violence, of course, my dad with substance abuse, alcohol, my mom running from shelter to shelter when we were young. So, it's just a lot of situations. And I always say that although we grew up in the same home, we experienced different forms of trauma, and that can also happen. And so I think we'll touch base on that a little bit on Thursday. Just kind of
Good,
some of
good.
the things that he went through, some of the things that I went through, and how ultimately, his story is completely different than my story. But we grew up in the same home. We had the same mother, the same father, the same situations, but we just had different experiences.
Yeah, and that happens. Like everybody sits in church, hears a different message when I preach.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
So that's
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I'm
That's
super
wonderful.
excited. All of the things that he's doing, and of course, traveling is on his bucket list. And so he just came back from Dublin, Ireland.
Okay.
And so,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
That is so cool.
I'm excited to have him on, and he's just a walking encyclopedia full of knowledge. So I'm excited. So that's going to be exciting. So you definitely don't want to miss it. And then he'll come back on the 4th session as well, and he'll kind of open and close it, and then he'll be talking about anxiety, ADHD, how it all looks, from childhood to adulthood. Sometimes people have it as a child and they don't realize that they've had it all along, and they wonder, why have I gone through certain situations in my life? But ultimately, when they become adults, that's when they realize, like, wow, I am struggling with anxiety, I'm struggling with ADHD.
Right.
And had I known when I was younger, then there could have been some type of like interventions or solutions for me. So
Well, one of the things about mental health, and we've heard it over and over again. People talk about, people of color,
right,
are oftentimes we stigmatize mental health,
right,
and just make it seem like it's bad or it's an evil thing.
right,
And so we're just here trying to, break that mold. And when the Bible talks about us having the mind of Christ,
right,
then the mind is so important. Our soul. The Bible also says He breathed into us the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And so that soul part of us, the soul, the mind, the will, the emotions, the intellect, the reasoning, that part of us is so important, because that's how we're going to process and filter where what's going on with the information.
Right.
Whether it's a word from God or it's a word from Satan. Adam had a word. Adam had a word from God, and then he got a word from Satan. And he had to determine how he was going to process that, or which one he would obey.
Right.
And your soul realm determines your will, which is your choice, your ability to choose, or your volition. That happens in the soul realm.
Right.
God does not make you make the right choices, but He gives you the resources to be able to make the right choices.
I was working with someone, and we were talking about just kind of some of the things that they were going through, and they said, I was diagnosed, with this, but I don't even want to say it. And I was like, okay, well, if you don't tell me, then I don't know what you're going through or what ultimately you were diagnosed with. So like, even like sometimes people that are faith-based, like they struggle because they're like, oh, I don't want to put it out in the air, or I don't want to, and so, I think that it's hard, like when you say talking about like Black and brown culture, or even people that are like of faith, they struggle with going to talk to someone or getting a counselor, because ultimately they feel like, I don't need it, or I don't want to acknowledge it, or if I say it, or if I go see someone, then basically I'm accepting,
or I don't have any faith.
Right. What do you have to say about that?
No, I think that we have to really open our hearts up to see that we can say we have faith, and sometimes it's a cover up for getting the attention to some things that we do. You got faith, you got a lot of faith. A lot of people say they got faith, but they still go to the doctor.
Right.
So if something hurts them, they still go to the doctor. Doesn't mean that you don't have faith. It just means that you're going to hopefully get some attention to something that you want to be better or you want to be whole.
Yeah.
So I think that, when it comes to mental health, like I said, it's been stigmatized and just looked down at, and people don't want to admit to or to get that help so that they can be whole spirit, soul, and body. And that's what it says in First Thessalonians. It says, I pray that your whole spirit, soul, and body be sanctified.
Mm.
He said, I pray your whole spirit, soul, and body be sanctified. All right. And so, yeah, I think that we have to approach things holistically.
Right.
I think that, a lot of times Christians they use faith as a scapegoat for the work that they need to do to be whole.
Right.
The Bible never says don't call it what it is. He doesn't say call things that are as though they're not. The Bible says call things that be not as though they were, which is working from the spirit realm to the natural realm. So we call things that be not. So, you call your healing. Well, if I got a headache, I'm going to call healing for my head. I'm going to call things that be not. It says the Bible never talks about denying something. And we like to deny that what is isn't. And that's deception.
Right.
So it doesn't mean you don't have faith. It just means that you have reversed the process that God has put in place, that we are able to call things that be not as though they were. But we like to call things that are as though they ain't. A headache is a headache. If you got it, it's a headache.
Yeah.
Now do something. What are you going to do about it? That's your choice.
Right.
All right. You can get some Georgia red clay and rub it on your temples.
Oh, okay.
You can get some Excedrin. All right. You can get some Motrin. Some people Excedrin work better. Some people Motrin work better. And old school folks will go get a powdered BC, a BC powder. All right. And the crumbled up powder. Some people get that. So what I'm saying is that people will do a bunch of different things in order to get a result. Okay. And they're applying something that they hope will make them better. So with all that said, yeah, I'm a faith man.
Right.
But I do believe that, to get professional help in areas, just like you go to a doctor, I just think it's needful.
Yeah.
I think it's needful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you got a couple more guests. We got 3 minutes. No, we got.
Yes.
So we got a few more things going on. Yes, ma'am.
No, so then the next one, of course, I've mentioned Ms. Sorabel Martinez, licensed clinician, social worker, just a good friend of mine. She is also has her own private practice. She started off as a school social worker, and she said she gave herself a date. She said, as of this date, I'm gonna, resign, and then I'm going to open up my private practice. So she took a leap of faith, and she's been killing it ever since. And so super excited to have her on. She also has a wealth of knowledge in the industry in mental health. She's worked with people with multiple diagnoses, so she is very equipped and very knowledgeable. So she'll kind of be talking about grief and just how do you overcome grief, depression, like things like that. So that's also going to be an exciting one. And
Mhm.
she's from Dominican Republic. Came
Mhm.
to the United States. And became an entrepreneur. So she just has that spirit of just empowering women. Motivating, encouraging, and not just women, just people in general,
Yeah.
to just be
Mhm.
successful, in their life. And so I'm
Yeah.
super excited to have her a part of this series as well.
And
And just
absolutely, I
thankful.
do want to say this,
Yes.
that this is not just for women, guys. Listen, this is
Yes.
for men as well,
Yes.
especially this next section. Um, this next section that we're about to talk about is, I think every man on the planet need to be there, but um, it's so important,
Right.
for us to understand these dynamics as well. And men like to, you know, drop out of the important things in conversations instead of digging in.
Right.
So, men, I'm calling you too. I need, if you're on tonight, I need 5 men that's on tonight to go and sign up. I need at least
Absolutely.
5 men to go sign
Absolutely.
up tonight.
Yes, there.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be powerful. That's the third week, so it'll be Dr. Ellis and Dr. Jared Russell. And they're going to be talking about just health, hormones. Hormones for women, and then also hormones for men. And then
Testosterone levels.
right, exactly, and how all of that affects your
Yeah.
mental health and just kind of like your lifestyle. So I'm super excited to have them on, as well as Dr. Jared Russell. He's a kinesiologist, so talking from a movement perspective and how movement and mental health play a big part, in your life, and how important it is to move. I know we were talking about with him not too long ago, and what was it called? It was the young lady that she was a gymnastics and
talked about
was it the twisties, and
Simone
how
Biles.
yes, and how her brain disconnected from like her body, and she's and she had to stop performing or practicing
because it was life threatening,
right,
because of all the things.
Yeah, and he really broke it down, and I
Mhm.
was just like really impressed on how just important the brain connects to the body. Like you can't move, you can't do anything, like your brain is the one that's kind of like sending those electrical signals to your body for your body to lift a finger, lift a hand, so it's so it's just so incredible, like how our body works. And if we really just kind of pay attention and are in tune with how our body like works, and how we process things and how things function, it's pretty amazing. And there is a God, because he was the one that created us, and every single detail in our body, it's for a purpose. And so they will kind of be breaking down brain health, movement, hormones, like all of that. So it's going to be powerful. You definitely don't want to miss that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And even from a track perspective, I forgot what it was called. I was trying to look it up the other day, but I couldn't find it. From when a person that runs track, what was it, that they run so fast that something happens, or the monkey on the back.
Oh yeah, we were
So
talking about
what is that?
That's lactic acid buildup when you run a race that's a certain length, and your body's trying to determine, are they going to run distance, or are they still trying to run fast? And so it's just something that happens. So the monkey gets on your back, and it like, it's like everything you're trying to push, but your body is not responding.
Yeah.
And so it's still a brain thing, but it's a brain to body thing.
So it's the connection, right?
Yeah, it's the connection. Yeah, and it also goes back to, goes back to preparation and training and what you train for. But you train your brain, and your brain is connected. The brain is connected to the spine. All right, and so the spine is responsible for nerves. So the brain is sending messages to the spine, and the spine is responsible for nerve messages to the rest of the body that causes the body now. So my fingers moving right now started up in here and a message was sent. All right. So when something happens to your spine, you have bulging disc, you have compressed disc, all that. Now it hinders, or you have what they call a pinched nerve or damaged nerve endings, all of that. So nerves, so it's happening from here. And then it goes down through your spine, and then your spine now is sending messages to your nerves, the nerve endings that's sending messages to your body saying, hey, do this, do that. Move your feet, twinkle, twinkle your fingers.
Yes.
Snap your fingers. All these things now are messages that are coming from a healthy brain that has logged all this in memory, and now it sends messages back.
Yeah.
So
is
that
the vagus nerve.
Yeah. And
that's
so, that's what happens. So you can train your brain, and that's what I've been thinking about now is like, being the age that I am, 60 plus. So it's like, what am I doing to be diligent about my brain health as it pertains to, am I going back and reading?
Right.
Because watching your phone is not like reading a book. You can read something on your phone, but it's different. There's a different impact on your brain and on your nervous system when you actually read a physical book. It's documented. So I'm nerdy when it comes to certain things, but there's a different impact. And so what I'm looking at is, all right, how am I ingesting information now that's going to keep me sharp? Because there's some times when I'm like, I forget things. Or,
right.
Where did I put my keys?
And food also plays a part.
Yeah. And then inflammation.
Yeah.
So we're eating a lot of sugar, a lot of bread, a lot of white things, potatoes, things that are not healthy, drinking a lot of sodas. And now inflammation, you get inflammation in the brain, inflammation in your sinus cavities, inflammation in your eyes, inflammation in your joints, which we call arthritis. Then you have bursitis, you have sinusitis. All these itis are it's inflammation. Anything with itis is inflammation. And so how do you work on, so that gets in your brain as well? All right. And a lot of times it's because of, diet and exercise or a lack thereof. So, I just think that this is going to be such a powerful impartation.
Yes.
To help you as believers to be able to really fulfill what God has called you to fulfill and walk out. I didn't tell you to do this tonight. I'm not even paying attention. I see a few people on, but y'all didn't hit the like or share button to let people know that we're here. And, when something's good, man, you got to tell everybody about it, you got to tell everybody about it. Let them know. We're not going to be on too much longer. Usually I finish at 8:30, but if you haven't registered for the seminar, I need for you to do me a favor and go and register for the seminar. You need to go to Just Be Transformed. There it is, and register now. Okay, Just Be Transformed. Register now for the 4-week seminar. And I'm prophesying right now that you're going to be a better version of yourself on the other side of this. So May the 22nd, May the 29th, June the 5th, and June the 12th are the 4 dates, all right, that you can be a part of this.
Yeah.
All right. And so run on over there to Just Be Transformed and sign up as soon as you can.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
As soon as you can. Do it, do it, do it. So I'm showing you all of the people that are going to be there. It's going to be amazing, okay? It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
So we finish up. We got Dr. Ellis, got Dr. Jarrett, and then we finish up again with Dr. Noel.
Yes, he will come back on the 4th week and close out the series. Yeah.
Close out the series.
Yep. So super excited.
It's gonna be big.
Yes, it's definitely going to be big.
It's gonna be big.
Yes, I just, I think that so many people are going through so many things.
Yeah.
And there are some people that are remaining silent, and enduring and going through, life and their situation, and they're not really speaking up. So, if you're going through something that, you're remaining silent and not wanting to talk about, then, just go ahead and join. You never know, what you're going to learn or what you're going to, get from it. And what's going to kind of push you to, get up out of your comfort zone and say, okay, you know what, it's time for me to get that help that I need. Like I mentioned, we'll be providing like resources. I'm a huge resource person. I definitely always want someone to walk away with something, or if they need anything, just to contact me. And if I can't provide you that service, then I'll connect you, because I think is, so many people, there's not enough organizations to serve all of the people that need help.
Right.
And so, we definitely encourage, I definitely encourage, you to get the help that you need, or, just get the knowledge. You probably just want the knowledge so that you can help someone else. If you are that person that, has gone through something, has overcome it, and, you're in a better place and space, then, still come on, because you can learn something and you can be able to kind of like pass it forward. And I think that's definitely important too, because if you're healed, then you need God to use you, let him use you so that you can begin to help others heal in situations that you've gone through. And I think that's very important as well.
I did a presentation today at my company, and I've only been there like 3 months, so we're already, stepping up and getting on the platform. But it really was dealing with some of the things we're talking about. I just came back from a dementia training, and when people are demented, or they have Alzheimer's, or what they call it, Lewy. It's one part of it. It's one level of it. It's called Lewy something syndrome. But anyway, there are different levels of what happens, or expressions of Alzheimer's. And what happens is, they say that it all begins with the cognitive. It all starts with the cognitive. And it's in your mind. You remember doing something that you can't do no more.
Yeah.
Or you can't respond. It's just, but it starts. So now the ability for your mind to be able to think, to carry out a function or assignment, it's real. So guys, listen, just, you got to trust the Lord.
Yes. You got to trust yourself.
You got to trust yourself, what you really need. But and I'm going to say this, you need to trust your man and woman of God, that we're going to do something to benefit you, to be a blessing to you, so that you can be so that you can be a better expression of yourself. So we're really excited about that. Anything else before we get ready to start winding down before we go?
No, I think it's my mission to help people, and I think just to be better individuals, whether it's through mental health, brain health, or business, just encouraging people, pushing them to their destiny, or what God has asked of them. And I think even with myself, we all kind of go through fear of failure, fear of, what people are going to say, or is it going to be good enough?
Mhm.
But, you have to take that leap of faith, and you have to just say, I'm going to go out, I'm going to try it. Or I'm going to go out, I'm going to get healed, forget about the what ifs, and, just go out and just do it, And so
Absolutely.
I think it's definitely important. Like, you can't keep going around life for years and years hurt. God doesn't want you to be hurt. He didn't call, he didn't put you on this on this earth for you to kind of, have all these fears of or not taking the steps to get healed. We all are, we're not exempt. We are going to go through situations, but it is so important that we make the decision to go and get the help. Whether it's whether we're looking for the help ourselves and we're researching and we're doing, the holistic approach and eating healthy, exercising, whatever it is that's going to make you feel better and get over some situations, or you actually go and seek professional help, but you have to do the work. And I think that's one of the things that, I continue to run into is people being fearful or putting other people before them.
Right.
And, you continue to put people before you, you're really not, taking care of yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And so,
That's right. That's right. So it's fill up time. All right. It's fill up time. So let's go out there and do that. Make it happen. You go on that website and look and see. Anybody, tell us on there if you signed up tonight. So if you're on the chat tonight, on the live tonight, let us know if you signed up tonight. Also, let us know if you you haven't signed up. You haven't signed up. What's that?
No.
If you haven't signed up, we're going to give away one. There's one giveaway tonight. Okay, one giveaway tonight. Okay. And so if you haven't signed up, you haven't had the opportunity to do that. So we're going to,
I said, how are we going to do this?
So,
because there's different platforms.
Do you have, and want to send an email, info@justbetransformed.com. Send an email to info@justbetransformed.com.
And
Info
JUSTBEA.
Yes, that's info@justbea just be transformed transformed.com. Yes, just be transformed.com. Okay.
Did we lose?
info@justbetransformed.com.
Oh, did we lose you?
Yeah, no, we're good. info@justbetransformed.com. She's going to look it up. The first person that's date stamped. That's the only way we can do it. The first person that's date stamped will get that complimentary ticket registration to Breaking Down Brain Health seminar.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
All right. You got it up?
Yeah. But
you got it up? Okay. So we're waiting. We're waiting on you.
Wait?
Huh?
Oh, you're going to wait?
We will see. Somebody ought to want this thing.
So.
Yes. We will see.
Well, I mean, just, I guess, well, then if you send an email, then obviously I'll have your contact information and I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll get you registered and signed up. Well, guys, we love you so much. Thank God for you. We pray that you continue to experience God's very best. And we're going to sign off for tonight.
My
And
Diggy.
bless y'all. We love you all. See many of you all on.
We got one
Thursday
person sent
night.
an email.
Yeah,
I got an email.
we got an email.
Minister Pat Evans.
Minister Pat Evans. All right. So it will go to Minister Pat Evans. That one, that ticket. Well, we love you all. God bless. Y'all have
Put
an
it in the
amazing.
Let's see
Huh?
the chat.
For what? Oh. The chat for what?
Oh, hey, yay, Diggy. Diggy made an appearance.
All right.
Yes. What was I gonna say? So Minister Pat Evans got the ticket. So we will definitely respond with information.
On how we'll get registered.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, wonderful.
Thank you guys for
so
joining.
many of you. God bless you all.
Mr. Cadeo. He was one of my classmates, social worker.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you for joining tonight.
Yes. Get on that. Get in this seminar, classmate. Sign up, classmate. It's going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay. We love you all. Thank you all
guys.
for being here.
Thank you. Don't forget, get healed and be transformed.
Absolutely. Get healed, be transformed, and walk out your best life. Absolutely. Okay. Until we see you next time, God bless you and have an amazing rest of your evening. Good night.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.